A few years ago, artificial intelligence felt far away. Experimental, distant, something for the next generation. Today, that future is here. And it arrived faster than almost anyone expected. Writers are watching AI write. Artists are watching AI create. Programmers are watching AI generate code. Lawyers are watching AI analyze contracts. Teachers are watching AI explain complex subjects. Doctors are watching AI assist with diagnoses. And millions of workers are asking the same unsettling question. Am I next? For decades, people believed technology would destroy certain jobs, then create new ones. That was the bargain. That was the pattern. The Industrial Revolution eliminated countless occupations, but it also built new industries. The internet erased some careers, but it opened others. Each wave changed work, but it did not fully replace human intelligence. This time may be different. Because previous machines replaced muscle. Artificial intelligence is beginning to replace thinking. And that changes everything. For most of history, intelligence was humanity's greatest advantage. No machine could reason. No machine could learn. No machine could create. Those abilities belong to us. That assumption is collapsing. Every month, AI systems become more capable, more accurate, more creative, more useful. Tasks that once required years of training can increasingly be performed in seconds. Reports written instantly, images generated instantly, research summarized instantly, code produced instantly. Entire workflows compressed into moments. The speed is staggering. And unlike earlier revolutions, this one is not aimed only at factory floors. It is aimed at knowledge work, at the people who once believed automation would never touch them. Accountants, designers, analysts, marketers, consultants, engineers, even software developers. Jobs that once felt safe are now being questioned. And the most unsettling part is this: that may only be the beginning. Because the AI we see today is likely the worst version we will ever have again. Tomorrow's systems will be better. Next year's systems will be dramatically better. 10 years from now, the technology may be almost unrecognizable. Think about how quickly smartphones transformed daily life. Now imagine something advancing even faster. Something that learns from billions of interactions. Something that never sleeps, never gets tired, never asks for a raise, never takes a vacation, never complains. From a business perspective, the incentives are obvious. Companies exist to maximize efficiency, to reduce costs, to increase productivity. If an AI system can perform the work of 10 employees for a fraction of the price, organizations will feel enormous pressure to adopt it. Not necessarily because they want to, because competitors will. And competition rarely waits for ethical debates. That pressure is one of the strongest forces in the economy. Businesses that ignore major technological shifts often get left behind, or disappear entirely. So the adoption of AI is not just a choice. It becomes a survival strategy. But here is the crucial point. Artificial intelligence is not simply replacing jobs. It is transforming the nature of work itself. Many people imagine a future where robots suddenly take every position overnight. That is probably not how this happens. The real transition will likely be slower, and in some ways more unsettling. First, AI removes tasks. Then it removes larger parts of jobs. Then eventually, entire roles begin to shrink or vanish. A graphic designer spends less time creating. A lawyer spends less time researching. A marketer spends less time writing. A programmer spends less time coding. At first, that looks like progress. Productivity rises. Workers become more efficient. Businesses celebrate. But then a harder question appears. If one employee equipped with AI can do the work of 5 employees, what happens to the other 4? That question sits at the center of one of the biggest economic transformations in human history. And nobody knows exactly how it will unfold. Some believe AI will create entirely new industries and professions we cannot yet imagine. Others fear widespread displacement, instability, and a growing divide between those who control AI and those who compete against it. Both outcomes remain possible. That uncertainty is what makes this moment so intense. Humanity is entering unknown territory. For the first time, we are building systems capable of performing cognitive tasks once considered uniquely human. Not just calculations, not just automation, actual problem solving, actual content creation, actual decision support. The line between human intelligence and machine intelligence is getting blurry. And every time that line moves, another profession starts wondering how much time it has left. The question is no longer whether AI will change the workforce. That question has already been answered. The real question is far more uncomfortable. What happens when intelligence itself becomes a commodity? Because once intelligence can be produced on demand, the rules that have governed work for centuries begin to change. And that brings us to something deeper than economics. For most of human history, work has been more than a paycheck. Work provides structure, identity, purpose, status, meaning. When people meet for the first time, one of the first questions they ask is simple. What do you do? Not who are you? What do you do? That tells you everything. Because work became tied to identity. A doctor is not just someone who practices medicine. A teacher is not just someone who teaches. A lawyer is not just someone who understands law. For many people, their profession becomes part of who they are. Now imagine a future where millions of those professions become partially automated, or completely automated. The economic consequences would be enormous. But the psychological consequences could be even larger. Because losing a job is one thing. Losing a sense of purpose is something else entirely. That may become one of the defining challenges of the AI era. This is where the conversation changes. Because artificial intelligence is unique. Earlier revolutions affected specific industries: farming, manufacturing, transportation. But intelligence is everywhere. Every profession relies on thinking, decision-making, pattern recognition, communication, analysis, creativity. The very things AI is learning to do. For years, people repeated the same reassuring line. AI can't be creative. Then AI started creating art. AI can't write. Then AI started writing. AI can't program. Then AI started generating code. AI can't reason. Then AI began solving increasingly complex problems. One by one, assumptions collapsed, not because AI became human, but because many tasks humans thought were uniquely human turned out to be more automatable than expected. And the pace keeps accelerating. That is where many people misunderstand this moment. The biggest threat is not always outright replacement. Often it is competition. Imagine you are a freelance writer. 5 years ago, your competition was other writers. Today, your competition includes AI tools capable of producing thousands of words in seconds. Imagine you are a graphic designer. Your competition is no longer just other designers. Now anyone with access to an AI tool can generate images almost instantly. The same pattern is spreading across industries. The technology does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be good enough. And good enough can reshape entire markets. We have seen versions of this before. Professional photography still exists, but smartphones changed the landscape. Suddenly, millions of people had access to acceptable alternatives. The profession survived, but it changed. AI may create similar transformations everywhere at once. Some professions will adapt, some will shrink, some may disappear, and nobody knows which category their own job falls into. That uncertainty creates anxiety. Not because change is new, because unpredictability is hard for people to tolerate. We can prepare for known threats. Unknown threats are different. Especially when the technology evolves faster than regulations, education systems, and governments can respond. Think about education. Children spend years preparing for careers. Years, sometimes decades. But what happens when work changes faster than schools can adapt? A student entering university today may graduate into a world that looks dramatically different from the one that existed when they enrolled. Skills considered valuable today may matter less tomorrow. Entire career paths may shift. The connection between education and employment could be fundamentally altered. That creates another difficult question. If knowledge becomes increasingly available through AI, what exactly should humans specialize in? Human value may begin shifting away from information itself, toward judgment, toward wisdom, toward leadership, toward emotional intelligence, toward qualities that remain difficult to automate, at least for now. And that phrase, "for now," may be one of the most unsettling parts of all. Because nobody knows where the limits truly are. Every prediction about AI seems to run into the same problem. The technology keeps improving, faster than expected, again and again. Experts have repeatedly underestimated its capabilities. Things once thought impossible suddenly become routine. Boundaries that seemed fixed begin to move. And every time they move, society is forced to ask a harder question. What does it mean to be uniquely human? Maybe that sounds philosophical, but it is becoming practical. Because we built machines to make life easier. Machines that could reduce labor, increase efficiency, expand prosperity. Now those machines are entering intellectual work, and people are discovering something unexpected. Work was never just about productivity. It was about purpose. Imagine a future where basic needs are handled. Food, shelter, healthcare, entertainment, everything. Would people automatically become happier? History says the answer is not simple. Humans need challenge, achievement, growth, contribution. People want to matter. They want to feel useful. So if AI eventually performs much of the work currently done by humans, society may face a question unlike any previous generation has ever had to answer. If machines can do almost everything, what is the role of human beings? That question sounds distant today, but it may become one of the most important practical questions of the coming decades. Because the future of work is not merely an economic issue. It is a question about meaning. Now, there is a common belief that technological revolutions always create more opportunities than they destroy. Historically, that has often been true. Tractors replaced manual farming, and new industries emerged. Factories changed manufacturing, and new professions appeared. Computers arrived, and countless jobs were transformed. So many people assume AI will follow the same pattern. And it might. But there is one critical difference. Every previous revolution still depended heavily on human intelligence. This one is targeting intelligence itself. That distinction changes everything. For the first time in history, humanity is creating systems capable of performing cognitive work across multiple domains at once. Writing, analysis, research, planning, programming, design, communication, translation, education, and every year the list grows longer. The question is no longer whether AI can do these tasks. The question is how well it will do them 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Because if current trends continue, future systems may be dramatically more capable than anything that exists today. That forces us to confront an uncomfortable reality. Many people are preparing for the future by learning skills. But what happens when the skills themselves become automated? Imagine spending years mastering a profession, sacrificing time, energy, money, only to discover that a machine can do most of the same work instantly. Not necessarily better, just fast enough, cheap enough, efficient enough. And in business, perfect is often unnecessary. Companies rarely choose the absolute best solution. They choose the most efficient solution. That is why AI is so powerful. It is not just about quality. It is about scale. It is about cost. It is about speed. It is about pressure. A company that once needed 100 employees may need 20. A team that once needed 10 may need 2. The profession survives, but opportunities shrink. And when that happens across industries at the same time, the effects are hard to predict. Some experts believe society is approaching a period of massive economic transformation. Not because there will be no work, but because there may not be enough traditional work in the way people understand it now. That is why conversations about universal basic income keep coming back. The idea sounds radical: provide people with a guaranteed income regardless of employment. For years, that sounded theoretical. Now economists, entrepreneurs, and policymakers discuss it more seriously. Why? Because if AI eventually produces enormous productivity while reducing demand for human labor, societies may need entirely new models. Otherwise, wealth could concentrate in the hands of those who own the systems, while millions struggle to find meaningful employment. Nobody knows if that is the path ahead. But the conversation itself tells you how serious the possibility has become. And maybe the hardest challenge is not economic at all. Maybe it is psychological. Imagine a world where machines outperform humans at most intellectual tasks. What happens to ambition? To competition? To achievement? To self-worth? For generations, people have measured success through careers, promotions, businesses, professional accomplishments. Now imagine those traditional paths becoming less important. Humanity may have to redefine success itself. And that is far more difficult than replacing jobs. Because changing economic systems is hard. Changing human psychology is harder. Consider chess. For centuries, mastery of chess represented one of the highest demonstrations of strategic thinking. Then computers surpassed humans. Today, even average chess engines can defeat the greatest players who ever lived. Did chess disappear? No. People still play. People still compete. People still enjoy the game. But something changed. Nobody expects humans to outperform machines anymore. The role of the human shifted. Now imagine that pattern spreading across dozens of industries, then hundreds. What happens when humanity is no longer best at the things it once valued most? Because intelligence has always occupied a special place in human identity. Strength can be surpassed by machines. Speed can be surpassed by machines. Precision can be surpassed by machines. But intelligence felt different. It felt uniquely ours. And now that assumption is being challenged. Some people respond with fear. Others with excitement. Most feel both. Fear, because uncertainty is uncomfortable. Excitement, because AI also offers extraordinary possibilities. Medical breakthroughs could accelerate. Scientific discovery could speed up. Education could become more personalized. Long-standing problems could be solved faster than ever before. The future is not automatically dystopian. In many ways, it could be positive. But positive outcomes are not guaranteed. They require preparation, planning, adaptation, wise decisions. Because technology itself is not good or bad. It is a tool, and tools amplify the intentions of those who use them. The same AI that creates opportunity can create disruption. The same AI that improves lives can eliminate livelihoods. The same AI that expands prosperity can also deepen inequality if it is managed poorly. So humanity stands at a crossroads. One path leads toward extraordinary abundance. The other leads toward instability and division. And the truth is simple. Nobody knows which path we will choose. Because this story is not really just about artificial intelligence. It is about humanity. How we adapt, how we organize society, how we define value, how we find meaning in a world changing faster than ever before. And the biggest mistake people can make is assuming this transformation belongs to the future. It doesn't. It has already begun. Every day, AI becomes more capable. Every day, businesses integrate it more deeply. Every day, another profession starts asking uncomfortable questions. And every day, the future moves a little closer. The real question is not whether AI is coming for human jobs. The real question is whether humanity can reinvent itself fast enough to keep up with what it has created. Because the most dangerous mistake is assuming the change will arrive all at once. It won't. There will be no single morning when every job vanishes. No one moment, no one headline. Instead, the transformation will happen gradually, quietly, almost invisibly. One task at a time, one profession at a time, one industry at a time, and because it will be spread across years. Many people will not realize how much has changed until they look back. The AI revolution may feel ordinary while we are living through it. And that is exactly what makes it so powerful. Because the greatest revolutions often look small at first. Then suddenly, they feel inevitable. Still, the most important question is not which jobs disappear. It is which human qualities become more valuable. Empathy, leadership, creativity, trust, emotional intelligence, wisdom, ethical judgment, purpose, meaning. These are difficult to quantify, difficult to automate, and deeply connected to the human experience. Imagine two doctors. One has access to powerful AI capable of analyzing millions of medical records. The other does not. Who gives better care? Probably the doctor using AI. But notice what happens. The doctor's value does not disappear. It evolves. The technology becomes an extension of human capability, not necessarily a replacement. That pattern may repeat across many professions. The future may belong not to humans or machines, but to humans working alongside machines. At least for a time. Yet there is a possibility people hesitate to say out loud. What if artificial intelligence eventually surpasses humans in nearly every measurable cognitive domain? Not some domains, most domains. What then? What becomes humanity's purpose? For thousands of years, civilization has been built around scarcity. Scarcity of food, scarcity of labor, scarcity of expertise, scarcity of knowledge. AI has the potential to reduce some forms of scarcity dramatically. And while that sounds wonderful, it introduces a challenge humanity has never truly faced. If survival becomes easier, what gives life meaning? That question may sound abstract now, but future generations could confront it directly. Imagine a world where AI performs most productive labor. A world where basic needs are largely met through automation. A world where people no longer need traditional employment to survive. At first, that sounds like paradise. But humans do not only need comfort. Humans need purpose, challenge, growth, connection, contribution. Without those things, abundance alone may not be enough. That suggests the challenge ahead may not be economic. It may be existential. So maybe the real question is not whether AI will take our jobs. Maybe the real question is what kind of people we become when work no longer defines us. No technology can answer that for us. Not even the most advanced AI imaginable. Because that question belongs to humanity. And perhaps that is where our greatest strength still lives. Not in processing information faster. Not in calculating more efficiently. Not in memorizing more data. But in creating meaning, stories, values, relationships, dreams, civilizations. The things that turn survival into a life worth living. Artificial intelligence may become smarter, faster, more capable. But capability alone does not create purpose. A machine can solve a problem. Only humans can decide which problems are worth solving. A machine can optimize a system. Only humans can decide what kind of future they want. And that distinction matters more as the technology advances. Because ultimately, AI is not the main character of this story. Humanity is. Artificial intelligence is simply the newest tool we have created. A tool more powerful than any that came before. A tool capable of reshaping economies, industries, governments, and societies. But tools do not determine the future. People do. The future will be shaped by the choices we make in the coming years. How we educate people, how we distribute opportunity, how we manage technology, how we protect human dignity, how we redefine success, and most importantly, how we preserve meaning in a world changing faster than ever before. Because the end of human jobs may never arrive in one dramatic moment. What may arrive instead is something far more complex. The end of work as we currently understand it. The beginning of a new relationship between humans and intelligence. A new chapter in civilization. One filled with extraordinary opportunity, extraordinary risk, and questions no generation before us has ever had to answer. The future is coming whether we are ready or not. The only real question is this. When artificial intelligence can do almost everything better than humans, what will remain that makes us uniquely human? Share your thoughts in the comments.